What's up, people? We got a whole lot to talk about today. A whole lot to talk about. So, I came to a revelation today, actually. I discovered the reason that I start things and then don't finish. I discovered why that was because for the longest time, I didn't know. I was like, why do I do this? Why do I start something and not finish? Why do I procrastinate? Why do I do this? Why do I do this to myself? Why do I self sabotage? Why? I was like, why do I do this? Why do I do these things? And I know why now. I know why. I figured it out. I finally figured it out. If you want to know why you start things and don't finish them and why you're always not completing what you think of, I'm going to tell you why. Self image. It's because of your self image. That's the reason. You don't see yourself as what it is that you want to become. Insert thing here. It doesn't matter. It can be anything, right? The reason that you don't complete what you think of is because you don't see yourself as that person. You see yourself as the person who is in pursuit of that thing. You don't see yourself as the person who's already obtained what it is that they want in the first place. That's why you're stuck. There's 4 key components to being successful. I realized it. And I realized that I've been lacking in these 4 areas. So, discipline, work ethic, self-belief, and patience. And not getting stung. If you're lacking in any of those areas, you're never gonna be successful. You're never gonna get it right. Ever. You have to have all 4. All 4. Until you have all 4, you're never gonna get to where you want to be. It's that simple. If you write it down on a piece of paper and you read that to yourself every single day, you will be successful because you have to ingrain it into your brain that you need to have these 4 things. And focus is another one. You got to have focus, but that goes into discipline. That fits under the discipline umbrella, is focus. You got to focus and you got to dial in your attention on what it is that you want. You got to believe that you can do it. You got to be patient enough to see it through. And you got to have the work ethic to back it up. If you do all of those 4 things, you will be successful. If you lack in even one of those areas, you will never be successful. Ever. But it is a 100% guarantee if you get up every day and you do what it is that needs to be done, regardless of how you feel, you will eventually get to where you want to be. Eventually. You just have to see it through. It's not just about this uphill battle that never ends, right? That's one of my criticisms of David Goggins. One of my criticisms of David Goggins, probably my biggest one, I don't have a problem with the guy. I agree with most of what he says and, I admire him. But my biggest problem with him is that he makes success seem like this uphill battle that never ends. And you just have to suffer and suffer and suffer and suffer. You need to learn to have fun too. I get it. Discipline is important and staying motivated. And well, I mean, you're never going to be permanently motivated, but staying disciplined is important. I get that. But you have to understand that you need to have fun too, bro. Like, don't take life so fucking seriously. Because then you'll just be miserable all the time. And nobody wants that. And nobody wants that. So, be disciplined, but have fun. You got 2 different types of people in this world. You got the people who complete what they think of, and then you got the people who just sit on an idea, and they sit there forever. So you want to be the first type of individual. Because if you're the second type of individual, you're never going to get going to where you want to be. And I have spent years not doing what it is that I want to do simply because of fear. 99.9% of the people who are unsuccessful and who are miserable are failures because they are afraid to fail. To some of y'all, that might sound wild, but 99.9% of the people who don't do what it is they want to do are afraid to fail. You cannot win unless you fail multiple times. Nobody is getting this shit right the first time. You have to fall. You have to. It is the only way to succeed. I was in martial arts for about 8 years. I started when I was 12. I finished, and I haven't been back since I was like 19, 20, I think. I didn't get my black belt. I didn't quite get my black belt. I got my green belt. I was there for a long time, and I failed over and over and over and over again. I failed. Martial arts is a failure sport. You have to fail over and over and over and over again. Over and over and over and over again. You have to fail. You have to. Nobody's getting this shit right on the first time. Nobody. You have to be okay with failing. You have to fail in order to succeed. No person on this planet who has ever accomplished anything noteworthy got the shit right the first time. No person who has ever accomplished anything significant or worth anything ever did so by just succeeding all the time. Ever. It doesn't work that way. You have to fail. You're going to fail more times than you're going to succeed. The objective is to succeed once. You don't necessarily have to do it again. You did it. You completed a goal. Another thing, and this is going to be a really hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, you're not always going to feel like doing it every day. You're not. You're not always going to feel like doing what needs to be done every single day. You're not always going to feel like getting up and going to the gym. You're not always going to feel like dieting. You're not always going to feel like chasing your dream every single day. You're not always going to feel like it. But you have to do it anyway. You have to do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. You have to. Discipline builds character. Pain, suffering, disillusion, darkness, it builds character. You cannot do anything of value unless you have suffered. You cannot accomplish anything unless you have suffered. Strength is what builds character, and it's when our character is tested in times of failure. We have to suffer. We have to suffer. It cannot be spring unless it's winter. Without winter, it'll never be spring again. Sunshine is useless without rain. See, I have this attitude now that whatever I set my mind to, I can achieve eventually. It may not happen right away. It may not happen overnight. It may not happen quickly. But if I set my mind to do something and I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. There's no second guessing. There's no maybe this will happen. There's no, oh, well, if this doesn't work out, then I need to have a backup plan. None of that. There is no backup. This is what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it until it's done, and I'm going to get it until it's got. And that's it, and that's all. That's it. A backup plan guarantees that it won't happen because it becomes an option. When it becomes an option, then you're always going to pick the option. That's just how humans are wired. If we give ourselves a way out and we give ourselves a window, we're always going to take it. Always. When we don't give ourselves any other choice, then we end up achieving what it is that we say we're going to achieve. Because we have to. We have to.